Well, very good morning and afternoon and evening. Very warmly welcome to our today's class online lifelong study circle, which mainly purpose is to creating your new life and filling those gaps which remained unfulfilled, which our societies and we could not learn before, unfortunately. But the good news is that with only 1 to 2 hours every Sunday, we will be able to learn all most crucial and important information, learning concepts, philosophies, and different ideas in this class with me. I'm your host, Maratib Shad, and there are a couple of web links and YouTube channel link and my blog websites as well, and a couple of Facebook page and groups links you can find nearby my video as well. So I'm live with my Zoom audience with my colleagues as well, and on the first session, first class, we are learning nowadays listening advanced skills. So it's an introduction to advanced listening skill. We are in class number 4. Um, and if you missed my last 3 classes in this online training course, you can go to my YouTube channel and possibly you will find the recording in a playlist as well. And so let's start our today's class number 4. And class number 4, we are specifically discussing from some text from the world-renowned book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And we are on habit number 5. And habit number 5, which is seek to understand, then to be understood. And where we are learning in this class uh, today about empathy listening or empathy, which is a core foundation of listening actually. And we will learn today this second heading. Last week we did learn on empathy in detail from third alternative perspective, how we can create synergy, how we can pursue towards third alternative, and the empathy is the foundation of third alternative. And the first session, which was the second class, we did learn about character and communication from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People book. So today we will learn from that same book, empathy listening, what the Stephen Covey wanted to teach us about empathy listening from his book. Although he did discover and he did rewrite empathy in Eighth Habit book as well, but we will continue to learn from 7 Habit because it's very foundational uh, text we will learn today as well. So let's start from our today's, and there are, I believe, 5, 6 slides, and that will cover up our today's session. So empathy listening. So let's start reading our today's session. I would ask my colleague Jenny if she can start reading, and my online Facebook page subscriber. Yeah, a couple of people are online. Welcome, Zahid. I warmly welcome to you. So let's start, Jenny, reading the few lines from the empathy listening.
Empathic listening, seek first to understand, involves a very deep shift in paradigm. We typically seek first to be understood. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand, they listen with the intent to reply. They're either speaking or preparing to speak. They're filtering everything through their own paradigms, reading their autobiography into other people's lives. Oh, I know exactly how you feel. I went through the same thing. Let me tell you all about my experience. They're constantly projecting their own home movies onto other people's behavior. They prescribe their own glasses for everyone with whom they interact.
Yes, thank you. It's a great reading. Uh, it's very self-explanatory about it is an advanced version of our active listening or smart listening. Many people call it reactive listening as well. Like the other person you are listening, you at the same time you are reacting by showing your body language and stuff like that. But actually, empathic listening is very highest form of listening, in which we go into the personal, into the other person's shoe, and we feel that how he or she is feeling exactly, and so that I don't make the situation exaggerated or uh, interpreting in my own words, which may have my own biases, my own prejudice, my own personal experience or agendas as well. So I have to avoid my own experience or perception, what we call. So, and of course, it will give me a paradigm shift, because if I am interacting or I'm listening to someone on particular issue, on particular deal, business deal, on a particular family problem or particular nationwide problem, so I will have my own paradigm and my own position about that particular matter. So when I will jump into someone's head, when I will jump into someone's paradigm, and that paradigm will now my paradigm, and from that glasses, from that eyes, I will start to see the world entirely differently. So it will give me a paradigm shift. But it is important that when I am in someone's head, to see the world from his or their eyes, it does not mean that I'm going to lose my position. Going to lose my own agendas or my own judgment. It only for deeper understanding the other person. That is the main goal of empathic listening. Okay, and he gives the example uh, of a problem when a father and the son had a had an intense relationship, and many time a dad does not understand the son, because son does not want to understand the father argument or father commands or the father's statement or point of view about. So usually the parent or naive parents which have a limited social skills, they often, I mean, give commands to their children to follow certain discipline and rules without listening them. And here's the empathy start to work to create a great relationship. So, Stephen Covey in this paragraph gives a quick incident, a story of a son and father, and let's try to understand where the dad was at fault and where the son may have a space to learn from the dad. So, I would ask Mike if he can start reading this quick paragraph and in form of story between dad and the son.
If they have a problem with someone, a son, a daughter, a spouse, an employee, their attitude is that person just doesn't understand. A father once told me, I can't understand my kid. He just won't listen to me at all. Let me restate what you just said. I replied, you don't understand your son because he won't listen to you. That's right, he replied. Let me try again, I said. You don't understand your son because he won't listen to you? That's what I said, he impatiently replied. I thought that to understand another person, you need to listen to him, I suggested. Oh, he said. There was a long pause. Oh, he said again as the light began to dawn. Oh, yeah, but I do understand him. I know what he's going through. I went through the same thing myself. I guess what I don't understand is why he won't listen to me. This man didn't have the vaguest idea of what was really going on inside his boy's head. He looked into his own head and thought he saw the world, including his boy.
Yeah, thank you. It's a great reading. So, um, from this story, we um, actually perceive that the limitations of many parents when they are trying to interact with their children. And Stephen Covey, when he listened this story from the dad that his son does not understand him, it is because that the dad does not understand the son. And why? Because dad does not want to understand. Because he does not want to understand, therefore the son does not understand the dad. So it's a vice versa as well. So more importantly, from if son wants to understand dad, first dad seeks to understand the son. That is the primary and very fundamental things. So first seeks to understand. First seek to understand your spouse. First seek to understand your employee. First seek to understand the needs of your customer. First need to understand uh, the statement from your parent or any role. That is the foundational thing for making the genuine relationship and going towards the solution. In this we just have say. Now the Stephen Covey, for understanding the uh, true empathic listening, he discuss about the four levels of listening. Usually we practice everyday life. There are four levels of listening: one, two, three, four levels. And what are these levels? He further say there is a fifth level of empathy listening, but we often, even we try to become a very good listener, we only lie in these four levels of listening, and we never go to the fifth level of empathic listening. So let's try to learn from the text from the Seven Habits book, what the Stephen Covey is trying make us to read of four levels. So I would ask Cynthia if you can read this and tell us what are those four levels of listening.
That's the case with so many of us. We find with our own rightness, our own autobiography. We want to be understood. Our conversations become collective monologues, and we never really understand what's going on inside another human being. When another person speaks, we usually listening at one of four levels. We may be ignoring another person, not really listening at all. We may practice pretending, right. You may practice selective listening, hearing only certain parts of the conversation. You do this when we're listening to the constant chatter of a preschool child. Or we may even practice attentive listening, paying attention and focusing energy on the words that are being said. But very few of us ever practice the fifth level, the highest form of listening, empathic listening.
Thank you. It's a great reading. So you see that the very basic level, the first level of listening is when we try to ignore the person that, and we are pretending that we are listening, but actually we are not listening. That is when your mind is full of negative thoughts or burden, or you don't give importance other person. The other person could be your customer, your other person may be the low socio-economic rank in the street where you he or she tries to tell you something but you ignored. It could be your colleague. Um, he or she is junior to you, and you don't want to listen because you have made your set pattern about them. That's why you really don't want to listen. You are ignoring actually, but actually you are listening something. That is a very basic level of listening. We do all. In maybe if we come across 5, 6, 10 people every day, then I think 5, 6 people are those which we just pretend we ignore them totally. And the second level of listening is where we are pretending to listen. Yeah, all right. Oh, really? Oh, I see. And that's we try to see that yes, we actually making fake listening in this. And then the third level is when we are very selective and choosy about what actually we wanted to listen on certain level of the speaker uh, conversation towards me. And that is a little more smart thinking, people say. And then so that we can respond. Or the fourth level, if I'm very good man, if I'm a very good person, and I want to give respect someone, and then I will be very very attentive and see and paying focus. Oh, I see. Okay, but still, my head is not in his or her head. Still, I'm one step back from that. But at least, I mean, this is a considerable level of thinking. We must give someone attention, not to his or her shoe. No problem if you are still in your paradigm, but at least it is little bit desirable level of listening. But the Stephen Covey, which he is emphasizing me and to the reader of the book, that we have to make our practice to go the fifth level, that let's come out from your paradigm and go to someone's shoes. And I'm going to give you some uh, just briefly example. Imagine that there is a war, let's say the war, or there is a pandemic or epidemic where the shortage of food, or imagine where some terrorist type of people are being prepared, and or the imagine those people who are in the war, especially the children. Let's say in Afghanistan, let's say in Syria, let's say in um, some part in Africa, or let's say in Middle East where the war is going on in almost any other country in recent years. Imagine and think about their own paradigm, what the one Iraqi or person who is living in Syria, he or she or they are experiencing the war. Or think about an Afghani person, Afghani child who does not have any food, and only he sees or that child see foreigner troops or the soldiers in the country, in the street, on the tanks. Imagine what the feeling they have. Forget about they are children of your enemy, uh, if you are fighting against them. Or imagine if someone, um there are like millions of children are hungry, and even they don't know where the next food is will come from. Imagine the intensity of hunger or mindset or the paradigm which they have. And in this situation, when they don't have food, some other terrorist group, they can use them and they can provide them food, and they say that you have to do some terrorist attack, then I will provide you and your family a lot of food as well. Imagine the mindset of that terrorist, that how he or she becomes terrorist and do the terrorist activity in certain part of the world, or during the war, or during some very unstable region. Do we have a capacity, do we have a strength to follow the empathic listening of those terrorist people, or those hunger children, or those people whose land is occupied by foreign troops or foreign people? Imagine how the empathy, how we can understand them and then make the better decision, uh, rather than we just project our own agenda, and we make them that we are going to kill our enemies on your land, and that's our purpose, and you are our enemies, and that's it. We don't want to listen them to the next level of listening. This level of listening, if we do have at a nation level, then we will not have any war, because now we understand what the language of what the people speaking from a Korean point of view, what the people want to, or they have feeling from Chinese point of view, what the people they have they want to tell you from Indian point of view. I'm talking about on a global level, that because of extremely lack of empathy, extremely lack of a collective advanced listening skill, we don't want to understand others' paradigm, other frame of references, and we want to project our agendas upon them. The Indian or Pakistani, they don't want to listen each other. Just they want to attack on each other because of their this poor listening skill on a nation level, on a government level. The same with the countries who are in the war zone. They don't want to listen with each other. Russia does not want to understand Americans' voice. Americans, they don't want to listen Russian, and they think that our capitalism is superior and the best, and the Russian wants to make best that no, your capitalism is the cause of all global problem. And then the American have the thought that the socialism is another form of global exploitation. So I mean, nobody can ready to understand their own what's going on. And the same thing happen on an individual level, where we don't want to go in someone's shoe, and therefore we will made prejudiced steps, we made racial steps, we will make a very poor judgment, very biased judgment against other person, and hence instead of making relationships, we will damage the other, or hence we will make more enemy about me, and that's going on in our world. Unfortunately, if we go every part of the world, like mainly more unstable and sensitive part of the world, let's say Palestinian against Israelis, let's say American versus Korea, or America versus China, let's say India versus Pakistan, let's say Syria versus uh, many terrorist groups, Um in Africa, there are many, uh, unstable and very dangerous groups are working. They are in collision with the governments uh, everywhere. And if we, as a psychologist, if we just observe all of them, mostly time, mostly time, they don't want to understand each other. And hence, the poor people, the poor and backward, ill or uneducated group, they will pick up the weapons against the other group, because they think they are tyrant group, they are foreigner people, and we have the right to defend ourselves, and hence we will go for some terrorist activity against them. Whereas the other people who have the power, maybe who are in the government in their countries, they have the right, because they have the power, and they will smash the terrorist group by hook and crook, by any enforced full way. So, and that's how our world is getting more unstable. And therefore, we, like I said in my previous some of the episodes in another class, that how we making more our defense budget so high, we are making more atomic bombs, we are getting more hybrid or super powerful weapons in for sake of our defense. And that's how we are going, because we don't want to listen our enemies or other countries or other nations point of view with the empathic listening spirit. Therefore, we will make more dangerous weapons in the world. And uh, and hence, we are more insecure, we are more in fear on a global level. And that's because of very much um, lack of this advanced listening skill, advanced empathy level. So let's try to learn more that how we actually, what phenomena happens when we try to listen. And Stephen Covey say, when actually we try to listen on our four levels which we just learned, actually we give them autobiographical responses to the speaker. And I'm reinterpreting the speaker's whole text in my own frame of reference, and will respond accordingly. And that's he says it. We respond to the speaker in autobiographical way, which is very basic level of listening and poor listening skill as well. So let's try what Stephen Covey is saying, and we will go for the next one. So I would ask Javeria if you can read it, please. Yeah, we can't listen to you, Javeria. Uh, yeah, maybe she has microphone problem. Okay.
We can't hear you, Javeria.
Yeah, her microphone is on, but I think we can't listen. So let me read it for on behalf of Javeria, and then next one the Jenny can read. He's saying, when I say empathic listening, I'm not referring to the techniques of active listening or reflective listening, which basically involve mimicking what another person says. That kind of listening is skill based, truncated from the character and relationship, and often insult those listened to in such a way. It is also essentially autobiographical. If you practice those techniques, you may not project your autobiography in the actual interaction, but your motives in listening is autobiographical. You listen to reflective skills, but you listen with intent to reply, to control, to manipulate. That's very, very, uh, I mean, self-explanatory that we listen to reply. We tend to reply. We want to control the listener, and we do every time, all the time. Uh, so let's try to read it further. Javeria, now your microphone is working?
Yes.
Yes, yes. So let's go ahead and read the next paragraph, please.
From where?
Yeah, from your screen.
When I say empathic listening,
Yeah.
okay. When I say empathic listening, I'm listening with intent to understand. I mean seeking force to understand. To really understand, it's an entirely different paradigm. Empathic from empathy, listening gets inside another person's frame to reference. You look out through it. You see the world the way they see the world. You understand their paradigm. You understand how they feel. Empathy is not sympathy. Sympathy is a form of agreement, a form of judgment, and it is sometimes the more appropriate emotion and response. But people often feed on sympathy. It makes them dependent. The essence of empathic listening is not that you agree with someone else, that you fully, deeply understand that person, and emotionally as well as intellectually.
Yes, thank you. It's a great reading. Thank you, Javeria. So, it's a main point is the last paragraph, the last line uh, is the essence of empathic listening is not that you agree with someone. It's that you fully, deeply understand that person emotionally as well as intellectually. So let's talk about that child who is hungry in the war zone. He does not have food. From empathic listening point of view, if you are interacting with that child, so imagine that what level of hunger emotionally you can feel that if you would be hungry for many days, or even what you will be feeling, or how that child is feeling actually. At the same time, intellectually, what the paradigm that child is thinking, why he or she is hungry, what's going on in his or her society, uh, why everyone, why there is uh, epidemic, why there is a pandemic of shortage of food in the country, um, and possibly that child is seeing or observing many other people or their neighbors are dying, or they are in violence because of hungry, because of they don't have any food to eat or something. So imagine that how intellectually you can understand, not from your point of view, but the intellect level of that child. So if we can have the level of our empathic skills for that child, then that is a great, that is we are going to achieve through this reading as well. The same thing if my spouse, um, if I'm not going to his or her head to understand their frame of reference, that what he or she is thinking about the problem which is in my family, then I'm not going to have the right solution, which will be both in favor of myself and my spouse interest as well. So that empathy is so crucial, so vital. So let's go further. That uh, the Stephen Covey is saying, if we are communicating with each other, that what percentage of our words count, what percentage of our sound or tones of language counts, and what percentage of our body language counts. So surprisingly, the words which we use in our communication, only 10% words does matter in communication. 30% my vocals, my tones of up and down and louder or low, with the low intensity which I'm speaking, that does matter, 30%. And the remaining 60%, my body language does matter. The body language, how I'm perceiving to the other, how I'm moving my different face expression, my facials, my hands, my these my dressing, my clothing, the how I'm talking, my body language, what other person is perceiving, that does matter. So, uh, and when you are in empathy, imagine have, you must have a strength to understand that body language, that 30% of sounds of the from the speaker, and of course that words as well. The same thing when you are talking with someone, that communication also impact on the more or less same percentage of your words, of your uh, body language, and the sound tone which you are producing as well. And that actually, Stephen Covey actually says that you listen actually behavior. You don't listen in their words, actually you listen their total behavior, how they approaching to you or how you are approaching as a listener or as a speaker. So that's is the main thing. So Stephen Covey is saying in the book, in empathic listening, you listen with your ears, but you also, and more importantly, listen with your eyes and with your heart. The heart means with your emotion. You listen for feelings, for meaning. You are listening for understanding the meaning of the matter from the speaker's point of view. You listen for behavior. You use your right brain and as well as your left brain. So right and left brain, you may know about. There are certain function of understanding which my right side mind, the brain responsible, and some of the functions of understanding of intellectually, my left side of brain is responsible. So in the last, Stephen Covey say, you sense, you intuit, you feel. So intuition is very important in empathy. In, I don't know whether you believe on intuition or not, but intuition is very important because intuition means you understand the someone or understand the matter spiritually, intuitively, from your own spirit as well. But that spirit is influenced by the speaker as well. So once something which your soul is perceiving, not your these five senses. Once your soul is perceiving something, that is more intuitive and more genuine feeling you have, and you take action after this intuition. So in empathy, when your soul is active now rather than your five senses, then it means you are going to take some greater action, and that happens as well. So many people, after listening, having an empathic experience with someone, they actually get up and they take the right action, whatever is necessarily. So that's more important. That's how our these languages does matter in our communication. Stephen Covey further says that empathic listening is so powerful because it gives you accurate data to work with. Very important. The more the best thing of today's modern world, especially in when you, a very experienced salesperson is selling something, why he or she needs to practice empathic listening? Because he or she needs accurate data, accurate explanation, or the data of the need of the customer, so that they can advise the right solution being a seller. So that's why you need. But imagine if you don't want to listen someone, or you are pretending to listen, and you don't know the exactly the need of your customer, of your client. What the poor data you will have. Actually, you don't have any data of the needs of the customer, and you are suggesting the same standard solution of that, oh, you take this medicine and your problem will be solved. Can you believe that how you are providing the bad solution to your customer without listening the customer and your client? Because you don't have accurate data. You are taking all customer in the same judgmental procedure. You are not creating a personal and genuine relationship with the customer. You taking a call and you imagine it is the same customer which I just have spoken 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, and you are providing the same thing to the new customer. No, no. You have to take the genuine and very personal relationship, because every person is very unique. Every customer have a different background and different most of the things, and you need to understand them from their point of view, from their frame of reference. And your product and service must have wide and broad range of collection, so that you can give the appropriate solution for the need of your customer and client. That's the how you needs to do. So Stephen Covey says that you are listening to understand. You are focused to receiving the deep communication of another human soul. You are actually listening the soul of someone through your soul. Once your soul is not connected with someone's soul, then you are not in empathy. You just pretending and wasting your time and their time, or maybe you will be giving a wrong medicine or wrong solution to the customer. And tomorrow or after a few days, that customer will come back with a complaint. Oh, hey, I told you this thing and you gave me this thing. I tried it this, but it did not work. It waste of my time and energy and my money. Please refund me back, or I'm going to sue you, because it wasted. It actually has ruined my health if you are selling a health product. So that's how the things will work, without empathy. And in our corporate world, we need more people who have this advanced listening skill. It is truly need of our time in this thing. So we have still more few paragraphs. I think we have exceeded the time for this session. Um, so let's shall I continue, or let's go to the next our session? of pain body. What do you think?
Can we go to the next section?
Yeah. Okay. So we will continue the empathic listening from here. We will read some of the new paragraph, and I will add some new topic paragraphs as well. Our next week number 5 topic is 4 autobiographical responses. Very, very important, and in very detail in the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. We will try to read some of the paragraph from what are these 4 autobiographical responses we do when we try to listen someone. So we need to have a detailed awareness about what the responses I'm giving and what level I am at right now, and where I should go towards. So importantly thing. So thank you very much for this class for advanced listening skill. Next Sunday we will come back and continue this class number 5 in this thing. So we will have a 1 minute break, and then we will come back for the second class, which is about the pain body. So you can stay tuned for 1 minute, please. Let me see on our Facebook who is with us. Oh my God, it's gone somewhere else. Let me see. I think my video is not right. Let me come back on the Facebook again. I think there is some problem from my it's not coming right. So I'm coming back on the Facebook again.